Hi guys, and welcome back to another video for Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. In today's video, we're going to be covering another one of the weapon guides for new players to NGS. And today we're going to be looking at the Katana weapon, which is used by the Braver class. So Katana, it's one of the more slightly complex weapons because it does rely a lot on counters. Rude. It's obviously a melee weapon that Braver uses in conjunction with the bow, which is a range weapon. So as I've said before, Brave is quite a strange class because it has a combination of melee and ranged. So Katana is obviously the melee option for that. So what we'll do is we'll go through the basic moveset of Katana, and then we'll go through all of the different Photon Arts that it uses and the weapon action. And then we'll also cover any skills that you might want to learn if you want to use Katana as a Braver. So the basic combo of Katana, first of all, so your first hit, it's just a very quick draw slash. So second hit is again another very quick slash back. And your third hit again is another very quick slash. And then fourth again is another one. Then fifth. And you can see that it's essentially just a continuous combo of it's basically the same couple of slashes over and over again. It never really deviates from that. The damage isn't really that great either. The main use of the regular attacks for Katana is mainly for building your PP. As you can see, it is very, very fast. It's definitely one of the faster weapons, so it is good for restoring the PP quite quickly. So next up is the weapon action. So if you just press it, it's a very quick guard. And again, like sword, you can actually hold this guard as well. And this will reduce any damage that you take. However, if you press it very quickly, it is actually also used as a parry as well, much like other weapons in the game, and quite often they have a parry mechanic as well. But next we'll go into the Photon Arts. So the Photon Arts for Katana, again, like most weapons, there's 4 different ones. We have Silverleaf Storm, Iris Gale, Lotus Lightning, and Radiant Lilac. So for Silverleaf Storm, it says, releases a forward slash after a swift draw. Multiple users release alternate attacks. So the gimmick with Katana is the Photon Arts. If you keep pressing the same Photon Art, it will actually differ what it does each press. So with Silverleaf Storm, if I just press it once, do a very quick double slash. If I press it twice in quick succession, I'll do another 2 hits, but it's a different animation. And then if I press it again, we finish it with that big round slash. And that will hit enemies around you as well. The range isn't huge on it, but it is relatively usable. Yeah, so that's kind of the gimmick of Katana, really. So each of the Photon Arts, if you use them in succession, as in the same Photon Art in succession, it will actually differ what it does each press. So again, just to show you Silverleaf Storm in its entirety. It's like a 3-stage combo, basically. So next up, we have Iris Gale. This says, mows down nearby enemies after a swift sword draw. Multiple users release alternate attacks. So again, first hit with this is a quick double slash. This has actually a really wide range as well, so it'll hit enemies quite far to your left and right. And it's very, very quick, and it's actually not too bad damage. Then the second hit is like a really quick flurry of slashes. And it's a slightly more condensed range as well, so this will hit slightly narrower hitbox usually. And then if we use it the third time, obviously restore the PP a bit more. So if we use it a third time, we get like another very quick flurry of slashes as well. You can see it's basically 2 quick slashes and then 2 flurries of attacks. So that's really good for like sustained damage on, particularly if a boss is downed, it's really, really good for just sustained DPS. Then next up we have Lotus Lightning. So this is releases manifold shockwaves in a straight line after charging a sword. Multiple users release ultimate attacks. So again, if we just press this, it basically just releases again a flurry of slashes from a sword. It looks very similar to how Iris Scale works. And with this, if you keep pressing it, what this one does, each hit is just a big flurry of slashes. It is different animations for each individual hit, but the whole Photon Art is just a continuous flurry of hits. So essentially, it's the second and third hits of Iris Gale, but on repeat, if that makes sense. So again, if I use Iris Gale, you can see we've got those 2 flurries at the end. And if I use Lotus Lightning, you just get straight into the flurries. So generally what I find is that Lotus Lightning is typically the go-to that I'll use quite often if bosses are down, because it's really sustained damage and you can just spam it really. So again, if your boss gets downed, you can literally just go. Again, although each individual hit doesn't do much, it's a lot of hits each press. So next up we have Radiant Lilac. This is slash your target with blinding speed, multiple users release ultimate attacks. For this one, I'll back off a little bit so you can see this. This is very similar to a Photon Art from original PSO2 called Guren Tessen. And it's essentially a Photon Art that lets you get in on enemies quickly. So if you just press it, you dash forward and slash, and it covers quite a big distance. So if I back right off, just so you can see the distance it covers, it's quite a far distance that you do dash forward. And you might notice there as well that when you do it at close range on an opponent, you actually go through them. So it actually lets you get behind enemies quickly as well. So it's really good for enemies like Gorons that have the cores on the back. So you can go up to the front of them, do this Photon Art and get to the back of them. And then obviously, so for example, you could approach a Goron, get behind it, and then hit it with Lotus Lightning. It's really good for repositioning. Obviously, you can do it in different directions if you're not locked on. If you are locked onto an enemy, though, you will dash directly towards it. So without lock on, if I want to dash, say, to the right, I can. Or to the left, or back. But if I lock on, even if I press right, I dash forward. So this will completely rely on your lock on. So you can use it to, just to reposition if you want to. So like this. Or if you want to get in on an enemy, you can use it to get close as well. And again, by using it multiple times, you basically just do a combination of slashes. So you just keep dashing backwards and forwards. That's the different Photon Arts for Katana. So next thing we need to look at is some of the skills that you use with Katana. So the first one, and this applies to bow as well, is Brave Combat. This is one of the main things with Braver. So Brave Combat is an active skill that you put on your palette. When you activate it, it reduces your PP consumption and increases your attack PP recovery. Attack PP recovery is when you use a normal attack, the amount of PP that you get back from that attack. Using the skill while activated will launch a powerful attack. So again, if I use it now, but what I'll do is I'll drain some of the PP, and I'll use Brave Combat just so you can see how quickly your PP will restore, and then I'll finish it so you can see how it finishes as well. I'll just drain the PP first. So we're totally empty on PP there. So then if I use Brave Combat and attack, You can see it builds up almost instantly. And then whenever you want to, while you've got Brave Combat active, you can press it again. And you do like a big finishing attack. And that hits all around you as well. So that's really, really good for PSE bursts because you'll hit everything in the vicinity of you. That's Brave Combat. And you do have this lasting little buff as well. So the next one. So we have Brave Combat Close Range. So this is during Brave Combat, using a normal attack while locked on will cause you to move closer to enemies within a certain distance. This is really similar to some of the other classes. So it reminds me of things like the Twin Daggers on Fighter, where you can essentially attack to pull yourself towards an enemy. I can't use it now because Brave Combat's on cooldown, but if I was standing over here and I did a normal attack, what it would do is it would dash me towards the enemy. So that's just good for getting in on an opponent, really. So next thing, Brave Spirit. This is temporarily increases PP recovery when attacking, as well as the potency of your normal attacks and counters when you perform a successful perfect guard with the weapon action. So it essentially just gives you a large buff whenever you do a perfect guard. Now, a lot of Katana is around using the perfect guard and counters, so Brave Spirit is really, really useful for it. Then we have Katana Guard Counter. This is automatically unleashes a counter when you successfully execute a perfect guard using a weapon action. I'll see if I can show you that actually. So if I can try and get an opponent to attack me, I'll try and perfect guard it. I can't guarantee it because I'm not great with Brave, but we'll try. We'll see if this guy will come over. So what I want to do is try and get him to just do a normal attack on me. That was it there. You can see it kind of like fires a little beam. His range is garbage. You just missed me at point blank. These ones are a little bit awkward to guard, really, because they hit you a few times in a row. There you go. That's kind of how that works. He may follow me all the way up here, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm not great with Braver. Let's see if he's following me or not. Nah, he's gave up, that's fine. Right, so back to the skills. So next we have... So we've got Brave Combat Cross Spirits. This is when you trigger Brave Combat, Brave Spirit also becomes active. So it just activates this Brave Spirit skill as soon as you use Brave Combat. That'll be useful for Katana or Bow. Next up we have Katana Guard Counter Advanced. This adds a shockwave to the Katana Guard counter, which you saw. So without this skill, you'll still do the counter, but it'll only be melee range. Where with Counter Advanced, you'll actually do a range beam as well. Then we have Fearless Attitude. So this is neutralizes enemy attacks at a set time after releasing a Photon Art or normal attack and automatically unleashes a counter. So this is basically if an enemy goes to attack you just after you do a Photon Art, you'll actually neutralize the damage completely and then you'll automatically counter. So it relies on you essentially using Photon Art as counters. So again, Katana is one of these weapons that has multiple different ways of countering opponents. So you can do it through the weapon action or you can do it through actual Photon Art counters as well. And we have Katana PA Combo Retention. This using another Photon Art will not interrupt your Katana combo string. So I think what that means is you can see got this little combo here. And I think what it means is you can go. It basically remembers where you were in the combo. Or does it mean... Okay, yeah. So yeah, so what this allows you to do, it's kind of badly worded. What it allows you to do is, I've already said that the Photon Arts have 3 stages to them generally. So again, you know, with Iris Scale, you've got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. What this allows you to do is to dip into other Photon Art and then come back to another one, and it'll remember where you were. So what I'll do is I'll do the first hit of Iris Scale, and we know that the second hit of Iris Scale is that flurry of attacks. So what I'll do is I'll do Iris Scale stage 1, then I'll do a different Photon Art, then I'll go back into Iris Scale. So if I go Iris Scale, Lotus Lightning, Iris Scale. So you can see it remembers that I've already done the first hit of Iris Scale, and it starts with the flurry. So again, just to show you that easier. So what I'll do is I'll do Iris Scale, then I'll do this first Photon Art, which name I've forgotten. Silverleaf Storm. Then I'll go back into Iris Scale again. So what you should see is you'll see the first hit of Iris Scale, then Silverleaf Storm, and then the second hit of Iris Scale, instead of it starting again. So you can see there at the end, it's that last hit was the second hit of Iris Scale rather than the first hit. So it doesn't reset your combo. Without that skill, what it would have done is it would have done first hit of Iris Scale, the first hit of Silverleaf Storm, and then gone back to the first hit of Iris Scale again. So it allows you to to mix up your combos a lot more, so that you don't lose the more damaging parts of the combos. And it allows you to mix up what you use a lot more, which is good because it means you don't have to spam the same Photon Art over and over again. So next up, we have Katana Guard Counter Plus. So you can see it's very heavily built around this counter. And this is when you perform a Katana Guard counter, performing a normal attack unleashes an additional counter. So this is, so when you get a counter off, you then hit normal attack and you'll do a second counter. So you're countering an attack and then doing another attack which triggers a second counter. It's quite complicated, but basically all you want to remember is that whenever you get a counter off by using your weapon action, you just want to remember to press normal attack after it to get that second counter off as well, which I'll be honest, I forget to do all the time. Next up, we have Fearless Attitude PP Preservation. This reduces the PP consumption of the first Photon Art you use after activating Fearless Attitude. So it just allows you to just save a little bit of PP when you're using Photon Arts after activating Fearless Attitude. So it's not massively important, but with Katana, because you are using a lot of Photon Arts, because you want to use the different stages of the Photon Arts, you will go through PP quite fast, so any PP reduction you can get is always useful. Then we have Katana Perfect Guard PP Gain. This recovers PP when you successfully execute a perfect guard. So again, it's very, very almost single-mindedly focused on that counter. Then we have Katana PA Combo Finish. This is after using the third step of a Katana Photon Art, your normal attack changes to a powerful strike. So I'll try and show that. So what I'll do is I'll do all of Iris Scale, and then I'll do a normal attack after it. But again, our normal attack normally is this. But if we do the full Iris Scale first, and a normal attack, we get that, it's almost like a charge slash. It's not actually a charge that you do, but you just get a lot more hits out of it. So again, I'll show that again. So that's your normal attack normally. We do full Iris Scale, part 3, and normal attack. We get that slash with a lot of extra hits. So again, just what you want to remember is after doing a Photon Art, sometimes it's worth just doing another normal attack just to get that extra hits in before you go back to using your Photon Arts again. So then lastly, we have Katana SC Skip Arts. This is a Photon Art used after performing a sidestep counter is changed to its third stage and has increased potency. So this is another alternate way that you can play Katana if you want to. This would basically revolve around using sidestep counters. So again, sidestep counter is when if an enemy goes to attack you and you do the dash to avoid it instead. So that is another way of avoiding attacks. If you then use a Photon Art after successfully dodging an attack by using this dash, that Photon Art will have increased potency, so it'll do more damage, and it will start from its third part. Because what you'll notice is that the third part of the Photon Arts tends to be the one that does the most damage. Not always, but usually. So say if you're using Iris Scale again, see the last hit does, you know, pretty reasonable damage. So if you did a sidestep counter and then did Iris Scale, you would start from that third hit. So again, that's another alternate way of playing Katana, really. I don't find it... I'll be honest, I don't really use that way of playing very often. I tend to rely more on the actual counters instead. Which I'm horrible at, to be honest. I don't really play Katana that often, just as a disclaimer. But I tend to find it a bit easier to play around the counter playstyle rather than using the sidestep counters. So by counter, I mean the weapon action counter. So that's the basics of the Katana skills, and that's kind of how it works. That's more or less going to cover everything for Katana. So it is definitely one of the more complicated weapons just because of all the different counters it can use, and just remembering how the different stages of each Photon Art works. I think once you've remembered what each part of each Photon Art does, you can sort of learn your own combos and what combos are more optimal to use in different situations. And that's one of the main difficulties of Katana, just remembering that. Overall, though, once you've learned it, it is a really, really strong weapon. You know, Braver is definitely, you know, a pretty strong class overall. And you tend to find that a lot of Bravers will just exclusively use Katana for several reasons. A lot of people just don't like Bow. And when you look at the skill tree is quite heavily focused towards Katana as well. But that'll do it for this video. Any questions, as usual, just leave them in the comments below. I will try and answer what I can. But for the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next video.